First of all, who would like to be popular? Who would like to be popular? Me, I would like to be. Just raise up your hand, we are together. If me, I would like to be popular. Isn't it? I know many of you don't. So I will not ask who does not want to be popular, because none of you raised your hands, except me and the lady. It is good to be popular, isn't it? It is good for people to like. What is popularity? Because maybe you have a bad concept of what popularity is. What is popularity? What is to be popular? Huh? To be known by many. According to her, it is to be known by many. Yes, apart from them knowing you. To be known by what you do, not by what you do. What is to be popular? Yes. To be liked by many people. To be liked by many. Yes, Maadori. To be a celeb. Celeb, famous. Who was an idea of what? Yes. There is a lady over there. What is it? To be understood. Life understood. Now, to find acceptance amongst many. Isn't it? To find acceptance. Amongst many. Isn't it? Actually, that is the core of popularity. The popular guy is the guy who is positive popularity is to find acceptance. Someone will tell you that which comedian is the one who runs around and falls on the ground. Mbara Baba. Now, Mbara Baba has his songs, and when he sings them, Mbara Baba, not Mbara Baba, Mbara Baba. Mbara Baba sings funny songs and runs and somersaults and gets into mud in his suit and does funny things. And if you ask, let me ask you, because you know, is he popular with you? Right? But he is known by many, isn't it? Because I said that you know him. But is he popular with you? Why is he not popular with you? You don't find acceptance of the way he does his songs. But you know him, isn't it? Do you like him? No. How many people like the way he sings and could actually try to sing the same way? Because one of the ways you show you like the man's song is also to try and do what he does. So how many of you really like him and would like to? Okay? Do you understand him and why he does what he does? So you could actually be known by many people, but you're not popular. You don't find acceptance. True positive popularity is not only to be known, but much more important, to find acceptance amongst many. It is to find acceptance. Now, some people think that the way to be positively popular or to be liked is to have good looks. Isn't it? To be very nice looking. Right? So we know people have gone out of their way to do very funny things. To make themselves look good. What are some of the things that people do to make themselves look good as a way of attracting popularity? Aha, plastic surgery. Now we can we write that? We generally find that it is accepted. So that's the way I will live. And liking is part of it. So liking was good. Though all of you are right, but those two were there. It is to find acceptance for liking. Okay, so some of the things we do is plastic surgery, isn't it? I used to think that they use plastic to do it. Until I found out there's no plastic involved. You know how you hear something fast and the first thing you think of a basin. Okay. What else do people do to make themselves look good? Yes?
Use of body enhancing drugs like steroids.
Body enhancers, like steroids. Yeah, so if you are like me, who does not have many muscles, which are bulging and whatever, I can take steroids and then I become now as big as my brother there. You know, he shakes my hand and I will shake his. Darius is bigger than me. So I can shake his hand and he'll feel that I'm also strong. Then I come with a sleeveless t-shirt, tumbo cut. So I become popular, isn't it? So, steroids. What else do people do? Have you seen the way? Yes? Yes. Aha. We think that the lighter, the more popular, isn't it? So we use creams and skin lighteners. So because we think that those who are dark are not beautiful and therefore not popular. Skin lightening, lighteners. Okay. And yes, because
in another way, today people are using photography. You can edit a photo that you are with the president.
yes. Okay, so even photography, use of photography, isn't it? I have also seen it on Facebook that there's an app where you can change the way you look and you become. Even me, I can become a US soldier with regalia and everything, but it is me. Alright? So people, to get popularity or post, if you go to South Africa, there are places where you can find the statue of Nelson Mandela, life size, and you can stand next to him and take a photo, and it will look like you are with him, isn't it? So people even use other people's popularity to themselves to become. That is why I'm telling you, even though you did say you like popularity, many people like it. All of us, naturally, man, the way we are, we like to be popular. We like to be accepted. Even in a church setup like this, we would like to find acceptance. Even in our families, amongst our family members, we are happier if we find acceptance. Even at our places of work, we are happier to find acceptance. So people think about good looks as the way to popularity. Intelligence, isn't it? So that people would want to come out to be the intelligent guys. Read a lot so that I remember when we used to be in high school, one of the things that people would need to become famous and popular would be to read a lot of dictionary and be very good with vocabulary. I do not know if it happened in your school. But when we were in Form 2, we could talk English, man. We just talk tough English. Even the teachers used to wonder, what time were we cramming those things? The problem is sometimes we use them badly in places where they ought not to have been used. But all the same, we appeared like we were really very intelligent and popular. What about athleticism? Sports, isn't it? There are those who worship sports. You remember that Coca-Cola advert? They drink football, sleep football, think football. So that there are those people who are known to be sportsmen and sportswomen, and they think that is a good place for popularity. But God, who has created us, appears to give us a different thing, a different way to go about it. And he says this: if you want to be popular, positively, to find acceptance, have steadfast love. Have steadfast love. Love one another. Love one another. Show love to one another in a steadfast way, in a consistent way, without fail. That is the meaning of steadfast. It should be something that people can trust. Your love for those around you can be seen and trusted. And be truthful. Okay? Love those around you and be a truthful person. Be truthful. Truth, love, and mercy are a more enduring attribute to seek if you want to find acceptance before God. Be loving, faithful, truthful. Mercy. Okay? Love itself walks side by side with mercy. Mercy is the friend of love. Mercy is the friend of love. How has God shown his love to mankind? Is it not through his mercy? Has he not been merciful to us? For we deserved not his mercy. But God, loving the world so much, mercifully gives his Son to die for us. So that love and mercy walk side by side. These will make you more endeared to your friends if they can trust your word. If they know that you mean well and you show your love and are merciful to those who are around you. And if those who are around you are in trouble, you go out of your way to mercifully help them. Merciful love is good. Merciful love is good because it seeks not to boast of its love. Surely it is shown out of kindness. That is why it is merciful. So that if you want a good reputation, to be popular, to have a good reputation amongst those with whom you live, show love and mercy. If there be those amongst us who have less than we have, let us extend a hand of merciful love to one. Let us not just pray for them, James says, and wish them to go and keep well and warm, even though it is cold. But let us remove our tunic and give to them, that they too may really feel warm. That kind of love does not seek to boast, for it is out of mercy. It is out of goodness. God says we should trust that. We should trust that. In fact, he says that these things are so good that the words he uses to bind them around your neck and to write them on the tablet of your heart. Now, those imageries, many of the ladies here have got necklaces around their neck. Why are they hanging them around their neck? So they don't fall off. It becomes part of your dressing. It's like, like a rope tied on your neck. It is part of you. The way this watch is now on my hand here, it is part of my hand, isn't it? It is bound here. So that imagery of, hang it around your neck is so that it is part of your life. Writing it on the tablet of your heart, you can visualize that the heart has got a tablet maybe made of stone, and you inscribe these characteristics onto the heart. It becomes a part and parcel of your life. They are so good before God and so good to be trusted and emulated that he would rather, the proverbist would rather, that they become so part of your life that you are known like that. You're known to be loving. You're known to be truthful. You're known to be trustworthy. You are faithful. You are a person whose word can be trusted. I do not know how to stress that more than that. But the negative side of it is that on account of our sinfulness, rarely can we be trusted and merciful love. When we love, we have sometimes, more often than not, evil motives to show love. Isn't it? Because of our sinful character. When we are merciful, we expect mercy in return. I gave you this. How come you are not giving? I gave you that. Now, what have we given back to God for his merciful love to his son? Many times, even the things he has told us, there are so many things that sometimes you find in the Bible, starting with therefore, after the word of God and what he has done has been described. And he says, therefore, give your lives as a living sacrifice in view of God's mercy. Isn't it? In view of what he has done, now do this. Even those things, though we have been told what we can do in return, sometimes we have to be whipped to even start doing them. It's like we can barely give back to God, even those things he has said we should give to him. Now, the negative side of it, what is the opposite of loving? Huh? Hate. What is the opposite of mercy? You don't know the opposite of mercy. What about the other opposite of faithful? Unfaithful. Even here you would have just said unmerciful. Or merciless. What about truthfulness? What is the opposite side of truthfulness? Dishonesty. Dishonesty. Okay. Or falsehood, isn't it? Now, because of our sinfulness, there are certain times that we engage, many times we engage in this, in the hope that we will find popularity. Do you agree? What examples? How do we engage in this? These ones are written in black. Leave alone these ones. These ones. How do we engage in them in the hope that we'll find popularity? Or we'll build reputations? Yes, Pastor. Yes, let's pass on the microphone. How do we engage? We find ourselves engaging in this, thinking that now is when we'll find popularity or reputations will be built. Yes.
It seems that Mrs. Elizabeth is a wife.
Yes.
Then in my heart, I know that she's not beautiful.
Yes.
I want us to like,
Yes.
or tend to like her that she's beautiful.
Yes.
She like.
Yes. So, Pastor knows my wife is not beautiful. But now, because he wants my wife, has Ken told you that you are beautiful? No. She has not been telling you. Beautiful. Right? You are, you know, a guy like Ken does not even deserve you. Now, he hopes that he will become very popular with her. Isn't it? And he might just get away with it. He might just, but that is, he is first of all showing hate towards me. You see that? He is showing hatred. Because if he loved me, he would not do that. Isn't it? So the only reason he's doing it is he hates you. He's not being very merciful towards me. He's breaking up my marriage. And he has said it is false. It is dishonest. Do you know that there are people who lie just for the sake of lying? I mean, just you sit back and you say, why did he say that? Why did he have to lie like this? Because it has not improved him or her in any way. But you know, just to feel that I took them for a ride and they fell for it. You know, I must tie it down. I can lie. Or, you know, when people are in trouble, there is the boy in school who is told, you tell us what we are going to tell the teacher. And he always comes up with when you are growing up, that didn't happen. You know, we are all in trouble. And there's this guy who was always, he just knows. He knows what to say. When he goes to say, somehow, the teacher, not only the teacher falls for it, even you guys fall for it. It looks like it is so true. But that is not true. That is not true. God, who has created us, through the writing of the Proverbs, tells us that the way to find a good reputation, and to be popular in a godly way, is to love one another and to mercifully deal with one another. Mercy requires that we forgive, that we let things pass, that we just show love. And the reason why it must be the way Christ has done it is because Christ did it to sinners. Who even today, even you and me who are saved, we are struggling to pay back the debt of love that we owe to God. We are struggling to pay it back, even to one another. It's a struggle to love each other. But the writer of Proverbs says these things are so important that each one of us should bind them around our necks. They should become part and parcel of our lives. And we should write them in the tablets of our hearts. Steadfast love and faithfulness. In fact, the way the writer of Proverbs puts it is that these are things that are not easy to have. They can easily run away from you. Look at the way he has put it. In ESV it says, Let not steadfast love and faithfulness forsake you. Let them not run away from. Run and grab them before they run away. Because it is not easy for you to be like that, being a sinner. And he says, you will not only find peace, favor, and popularity with men, but with God also. God will be happy with you also. These things should be so close to you that they would be like an attire, like a garment on your body. When we walk in here dressed, and then we walk out, sometimes the only way to identify each one of us is by the way we were dressed, isn't it? Isn't it? Those of you who God has given you the blessing and privilege of driving vehicles, of having your own vehicles, you know that sometimes it is your wife who had your vehicle, or even the mechanic. The vehicle was spoiled, given to the mechanic, and the mechanic was driving it from Tuakali to your house, from the garage to wherever. And someone calls you and says, Pastor, I've seen you, man. Hey, these days even I try to wave, you don't wave. And you, where did you see me? You just passed me. We've actually crossed each other. Nikapiga lights, na wewe ukata ukuona. Says, no, that was not me. That was the mechanic. Isn't it? Why do we assume that it was pastor? Because it is his vehicle, isn't it? We normally think that he is the one in it. It is in the same way that loving one another and being merciful to one another and being truthful and faithful to one another should be so part of us that people would know us by those attributes. That is how to bind them around the neck. That is how to bind them around the neck. That is how to write them on the tablet of your heart. Now let us apply. Because this is not for anyone. And charity begins where? At home. Those of us who have wives, those of us who have husbands, those of us who have children, those of us who have parents, do they know us right at home as truthful people? Can your husband say, when you are accused of lying, that's not my wife? Could be her. Because that's where the test begins then. Those who really know us are our wives. Can your husband as a wife, and you as a husband, can your wife hear something about you and say, that is not my husband? That's not it. My husband is very honest. I know he's very honest. He's very truthful. He is a very truthful man. Not my son. Not my son. My son is very, very truthful. He may be in trouble, but he will disclose it. He will not hide it. Not my dad. Not my mom. My mom is very, very honest. She may have done something wrong, but she will not hide it. Can that be a reputation that is on you like this shirt I'm wearing is now on me? Because that is where faithfulness and truthfulness begins. Can those around you, even in the family of believers, testify? Watch a testimony at funeral. That one everyone is truthful. That one everyone is good. I'm talking about in real life. And you know, friends, this Christianity that we have ascribed to, Sometimes the best place where it is tested is where we live in the house. That's what me I think. It is how I behave towards my wife here. So that I can even stand before and teach other people. It is how you behave in your house to those who know you. Can they say that Christianity is changing this man? Christianity is changing this woman. My husband is actually changing. There is an improvement of his Christ-likeness. He is listening to sermons and he is practicing those things. I can say that he has become more faithful. I can say for truth that he has become more truthful. And I can say that he has become more loving. There is a progression. It's called sanctification, isn't it? That's what we are taught. It's called progressive sanctification. You can see it. These things are being bound around his neck. They are being written on the tablet of his heart. Mercy and love, faithfulness and truthfulness. You can be held to your word. The psalmist, the writer to the book of Proverbs says, if you are like that, what will happen to you? Verse 4. Yeah? You will find favor and you will find favor. Good men will treat you well. Good men will treat you well. Bad men may not treat you well, but good men will do what? They will treat you well. For your honesty, bad men will not treat you well. For your truthfulness and faithfulness, bad men will not treat you because that is not their fault. But good men will treat you well. They will treat you. And I look at how the success is described. There is an adjective before. See that adjective? What kind of success? Good. Good with whose standard? God's standard. The success you will find is the success that even God says, this is good. This is good. You are successful in your life, even to the pleasure of God. Are you saying what I'm saying? Even to the pleasure of God. God is pleased with that success. When you see the Bible talk about good, it is the good of God. The level where God says this is good. That is a success. You know, you could have success that even God frowns upon. Now you think that is funny. What about in the New Testament? Do you remember that foolish man who was very rich and he had barns full? Or you have forgotten it? And it reached a point when he was saying, what shall I do? I have so much food. In fact, what we need to do now, he probably was telling his workers, let us break down all the barns around here and build new ones. Because the harvest is so plentiful. So maybe the man told him, okay, we have now finished building. Okay, we have put everything. Okay, now just relax. Let's be drinking and being merry. Eh? Let's just now enjoy. He didn't tell them, we need to have a service. Call Pastor Tony to come and pray with us with thanksgiving for all this good harvest that we have received, to give thanks back to God. And then, can we take a portion to the house of God? Isn't it? To go and give him back the first fruits of what he has given. Can we take some of this? Surely. He has given us so much. Now, the Bible does not record that he thought in that line. He thought about himself, his workers, his family, and how they are going to have fun. That is not good success. God may allow you to continue enjoying it, but it's not, in his presence, it is not good success. That's why I was telling you, whose standard is it good with? It is a standard of God. As we go along, this same Proverbs, chapter 3, you will see how God, the Proverbs later tells his son, anything you succeed, give glory to God. You will see it is in chapter 3. In all your ways, acknowledge him. He will tell his son as we go along. You succeed in something, look to God who gives. James says all good things, all good gifts come from above. As we go, even maybe next week, you will see how he will be telling his son to give acknowledgement to God for every good thing that he does. You want success that God sees as good? Well, trust him that loving mercifulness and faithful truthfulness are the best ways to godly popularity. If your reputation is a reputation of a person who is truthful, people know you as a merciful person. They know you as a very honest person. They know you as quite loving. You will never turn your back to a suffering brother or a sister. You will never look the other way. But you mercifully deal with them. And you're truthful in your dealings. Even if a lie slips in, but you try to remove it and come back and say, I don't think that one I wasn't quite accurate. I think in my excitement, I may have said something that was not true. And please forgive me. The truth of this matter is like this. That is good before God. And according to God, who we should be trusting as the writer of our manual, you will find favor and good success in the sight of both God and man. Let me hear your comments and your questions. Microphone. Questions and comments.
Mine is a clarification.
A clarification.
Yes. When we look at faithfulness and truthfulness, these things makes us popular. But there is another side of truthfulness that when you become the enemy of people when you tell people the truth. So how can you say that?
Now, who can answer her? Because I had given that answer in my remarks. Yes. I gave that answer.
You said that with good men, you will be able to treat you well.
Yes.
Bad men will not treat you well.
Exactly. That is the answer to your question. When you say the truth according to your question, how is it that sometimes people hate truthful people? Isn't it? Well, those are the people I described as bad men. By bad men, I don't mean that they are. They just walk around, we are bad men. I meant that there are people who do not believe in God. They are not Christians. They do not prescribe to the virtues of Christianity. And therefore, they do not like honesty and truthfulness. They have enmity between them and God and everything that God stands for. So that if you want to espouse anything that God would stand for, like truthfulness and mercy and honesty, they would hate you. But good men, those who like you are pursuing godliness, they will give you favor. You will find favor with them. Yes, give her the microphone back. Just give her the microphone back.
You are in a situation whereby you know my sister is a believer.
Yes.
And now you want to tell her something to do. And then she gets offended. What does that one say?
It says that she is still a sinner. She is a sinner just like you. She is struggling with that area of sanctification. What do you do with that? You try to help them out, isn't it? If they have professed faith, isn't it? You try to, in a most humble way, you go back to them. Sometimes you go to people and say, look, brother or sister, I think this happened and it was not. And they come out very well. You let it pass. Let it pass. Let it pass. You are only trying to help in a godly way. But remember that these people, like you, are sinful people. They are still struggling. They are still struggling with sin, isn't it? We are all struggling with sin. So that there is no perfection. Pastor taught us here the other day that on this side of glory, we are not going to be perfect. Isn't it? But that does not mean that we don't strive with the help of the Holy Spirit and with the encouragement of one another. We strive, don't we? We strive and we keep on striving and we keep on pointing to one another that here you are not doing very well. I think you're not doing very well here. How many of us were here when we were doing church discipline? The series of church discipline. How did we agree when our brother sins against you? You go to him just the two of you. I mean, these things are wholesome. You don't forget what we learned. We will just go the way we learned, and say, I was trying to tell you the truth, my sister. What I was telling you really, I think, and you got so offended against me until I became afraid. But I did not mean to hurt you. This is what I meant. If they understand, you would have won them over again to the Lord, isn't it? But if they refuse, and it is not a sin that you can let pass, bring a witness, isn't it? Bring another person. Let the two of you try and help her or him. If they persist, and they are persisting in something that is obviously sin, take it to the church. The prescription is right there. There's a way that God has laid for us. Remember what is written on top of chapter 3, if you have the ESV. What is the title? In other words, these instructions that he now gives by and by, trust in that they will work out for you. Trust in these instructions. Any question? Any comment? Any other question? Yes. Microphone here.
Thank you, Elder. I find this lesson quite helpful. And also, as you point out, the faithfulness of God that gives us the book of marriage, as you said. It's also quite review because personally I find that sometimes people do not, when we say, let me give an example. When we say I will come on time, most people, when they look at me, would they say that if someone economics amesema itakuwa na time kweli kama you utakie 30 minutes because it will not be on time. But let's say if pastor says that we're going to begin the service at 8 a.m., then you find that at 7:55 you're already saying, like in such occasions, like individually, it's something that if people say about you, what do they say when they give you what? And even for us corporately, if we say that this is what we believe in, or this is what we have given ourselves in, like an example, if we say we also have service teams here at church, do we, in those duties that we have been allocated, like if I know that I've been placed in wiping the board, that when the end is coming to teach you, find the board, or will he be trying to find out why is this guy supposed to be wiping the board? Are we such people? Because this is it's so important. Because outside there, when you say that you are a Christian, today it is really not really a good thing because it like backfires on you. Because you're a Christian, you are the people who are thieves.
Yeah, many people in the name of Christianity have now messed up the reputation of Christianity with all these things like the Shakaola thing and those kind of things. Sometimes you don't even know whether to say you are an elder in a church. Because people may think, they can ask you, do you guys also do miracles? those funny, very hurtful questions. Me, they really hurt me when they do that. But can someone open to Matthew chapter 7 and read verse 7? And another person to read chapter 5, verse 7. Sorry, Matthew chapter 5 and verse 7. And then someone to read Matthew chapter 5 and verse 37.
Matthew chapter 5.
Verse 7.
Verse 7. Blessed are the merciful.
Blessed.
Blessed are the merciful, for they shall receive mercy.
Blessed are the merciful, for they shall receive what? Mercy. Someone to kindly read the same chapter 5, but verse 37.
This is what it says.
Yes, just give this microphone over there. For recording purposes, Jude, yes, use the microphone. Verse 37.
This is what it says.
Actually, start from verse 36.
All right. 36, it says, and do not take an oath by your head, for you cannot make one hair white or black. 37. Let what you say be simply yes or no. Anything more than this comes from evil.
Right. You've seen there Christ's own statement on the issue of being merciful, loving mercifully, and also being a truthful person. Christ himself teaches those things. When it comes to saying the truth, just say the truth. Don't add many things. Huh? Mungu one. You've had those people who have to start with Mungu ahead. Like Mama Chumpe is doing like this. In other words, like let me be killed if I'm lying. But that is from evil. That is, let your yes be yes, and your no be no. Don't add many things. I thank God that amongst us are lawyers. Now I want to ask them to help us here on the matter of the truth. Lawyers are liars, isn't it? That's the adage, that lawyers are liars. But when we swear in court, when we swear witnesses to say the truth in court, what do we swear them to say? Those who are lawyers, please help me. How do we describe that truth when we are swearing witnesses? Jude? The truth, we normally start with the truth.
Yes.
Isn't it? Then, Mama Christian, the whole truth. The whole truth. Nothing
but the truth.
Now, these things are not said fancifully. They mean something, isn't it? This describes what it is supposed to be, isn't it? It must be true. Whatever I'm going to say must be true. This one means, of that truth, I will leave nothing out. I will say everything that requires to be said that is truth, isn't it? And this one means, if there is something outside of what is true, I will not say it. This is the devil one. Nothing but what needs to be said. If you have a reputation of speaking like this, you will find favor with men and favor with God. Okay? You will find favor with. There are people who know the truth, but they will not tell you. Don't be like that. Don't be like that. If we avoid, for example, telling people about the sinfulness of man and how to find salvation, we are not saying the whole truth. We know something, but we want to tell other people. We want to tell other people. It is as though we are saying it is okay that we are going to heaven. I really don't care whether he goes to hell. We know something that is good, but we don't tell people. The truth that leads to life, for example. We don't tell people. We keep it to ourselves. Or we add on. Thinking that if we add on to the truth of God's word is when people will come. We spice it up with things that really come from the devil. Because Christ says that when you add things to the truth, that one now comes from the devil. So we add on. And that is what charismaticism is all about, isn't it? They add on. They add on things. How do you sometimes feel when those guys who are singing there, when you hear them speaking in tongues? Have you heard those guys who are singing there now? Have you heard them speaking in tongues? Yes. These ones here, the ones who are singing in that microphone now. There are times when they decide to speak in tongues. And even you and I know that they're wasting time. Because it is not ascribed anywhere in the Word of God. But they do it. They do it. That is nothing but the truth. That's where it is. Isn't there something else which is other than that? She had her hand up. Give her the microphone. Callistus. She had her hand up.
I want to ask this
Yes.
question to lawyers.
Let it not be legal. I want it.
I just want before God as a lawyer, you are, how do you say when you are, a mother comes to you, that I've killed so and so. How does now this mother raise the case again and go see?
That is a legal question. that is a legal question. That has nothing to do with our study. Yes. I only approached lawyers to help us to describe what the truth is. Yes. Yeah, that is a legal question. Yeah, that is a legal question. Yeah, that one we will have to charge you fees. Even these lawyers here will charge you fees. Yeah. So that is a legal question. Yeah, that is a legal question. So any other comment on what we have done? Any other comment? Or yes, kindly pass the microphone. Or question, please feel free. We have 25 minutes. I'll finish quite early.
Look at the words of Proverbs, just reading that, and again, just echoing what you see in this passage. Simply echo the verse number 4. The text says, so you will find a favor, and the book says, in the sight of God and man. And we see this beautiful picture in the New Testament. So love your attention to Luke.
Yes. Let's go to Luke.
Luke chapter 2. How it is again, it's not just some period, but again, it's teaching here. So it does need a reset. If I click out this, and we have immigrant from
Chapter 2.
Luke 2 and verse 52. So we see someone who lived out that life. Some Proverbs. And it says, and Jesus increased in wisdom and in stature and in favor with God and man. Is it in the Bible?
It is there.
So we see that Christ actually becomes a person. That's the thing that fascinates me. He lives, enjoying faith with both God and man. And we know it is for all good reasons. We know that Christ is perfect in every sense. And we see that, as Ella put it, the people amongst whom we receive favor, the great favor, were those who love the truth. And God Himself loved the truth, and He Himself loved Him. And He can say, this is my son in whom I'm well pleased. And so God, as it were, understands Christ and terms of who Christ was. We see that Solomon writes, as he talks of his son, we are seeing of the greater son of David, who will come and live out that son. See the connection? Who will live out that truth. So Christ gives us that truth for us and shows us the way, because it's the way. So we can be confident that our own Savior who saves us live that truth and he enjoy the faith with God and man. That's part of it. I like that. Another thing that will say back to Proverbs chapter 3.
And before you pass there, he increased in wisdom, which we are doing.
Back to that number 3 of Proverbs, there's something said in faith, just to show us that I can describe this passage as the way God lived life. Let's see the godliness in it, okay? Again, verse number 3 of chapter 3 of Proverbs, we will see a passage that shows that it is a godly thing. Let not steadfast love and faithfulness forsake you. Again, steadfast love and faithfulness. So we must add, and I come to read the book of Exodus and chapter 34. Yes, Genesis, Exodus. If you're there, this is God describing himself to Moses in terms of his character. Look at what it tells Moses in verse number 6. Exodus 34 and verse number 6. He talks to Moses and he tells him, the Lord passed before him and proclaimed, the Lord, a God merciful. Is that word?
Yes.
Okay, so that's what we read those words. A God merciful and gracious, slow to anger, and abounding in what?
Steadfast love
and what?
and faithfulness.
So is that kind of God? That is godliness.
And then go to 7.
Verse 7 says, keeping steadfast love for thousands, forgiving iniquity.
Forgiving, yes. Forgiving.
So you see that that is the kind of God. So if we do that, then that is the way of godliness. It's a way of godliness when we show steadfast love and faithfulness. Just want to provide this.
Thank you. She has a question. Kindly just pass the microphone to her.
I wanted to mention Matthew 5 that you were mentioning, verse 57. If you go back all the way to verse 53, it's like
Matthew 5 verse?
Matthew chapter 5, verse 53.
Verse 33.
Yes. Right here? Again, that's where it is said to those who call, you shall not swear falsely, but shall perform to your brothers have sworn. But I say to you, do not take an oath at all, either by heaven, for it is a from God, or by the earth, for it is his personal, or by Jerusalem, for it is a city of the great king. So is God also telling us that we're not supposed to be making promises? Because I noticed how you were being mentioned on that. And if we're put in situations such as a court where you're told to tell the truth, or God have mercy on you, you choose not to make that oath, or under certain conditions it's allowed.
Gladly, you are allowed not to say anything in court. You are allowed to choose not to say anything in court. Right? But this tells us that when we make oaths or promises, we should keep them. But that we should not make oaths or promises that we have no intention of keeping. So if you go to court and you know that you have a propensity to lie, and it's all likelihood you're going to lie, you would rather tell the judge, I do not have anything to say. They will never beat you. I do not have anything to say. Now, although this is now taking us to the legal, but let me just say it briefly. Those who go to court can choose to swear before they speak or not to swear, and the evidences will be treated differently. Okay? Evidences will be treated differently. The one who gives a sworn statement is dealt with differently from the one who says, I just want to speak, but I do not like to swear. They'll be treated differently. But that is legal. Let us not go there. Just make oaths that you intend to keep. Now, many of us are married. We swore to be faithful to our spouses, and we haven't. Does it bother us? Does it hurt us that we haven't? Does it cause us sleeplessness? Many of us swore that we are going to be members of this church and even wrote what we are going to do. And say, what would you like? There's a place. What would you like to do? How would you like to do? I'll be cleaning the church. That's the fellow who does not clean the church. You know, they normally write the very humblest of things so that they attract the elders. Me, I like cleaning. I can help with Sunday school. You've seen them first. That's the fellow who does not even want to do where the children are. Please let us make promises we can keep and oaths we can keep. Otherwise, let us not make them. But thank you, Pastor, for showing us Christ. Christ, who increased in wisdom and found favor with God and man. Friends, the blessed obedient life, trusting in these things that God has given us, is magnetic. It will attract good people. And it will attract God's faith. It is magnetic. You try it. Try to trust God at His word. Let's try to do what He has said. Let's see what He will do for us. Let's try the Lord in this. Please pray.